devo dire che
All right, hey there, everyone. Welcome to the show. Tonight we've got a really cool guest on. Tonight we've got the All-American Prepper. I think the first time I ever saw you was on Jason Charles's channel, I think, or people know him as the Angry Prepper. I've been watching your stuff for a while, and it's kind of cool to get you on here. You've got a lot of stuff going on your channel. A lot of it is sort of the self-defense stuff, but you've also got the homesteading. You had mentioned a little while ago in one of my videos that you go without refrigeration, so it's off the grid type stuff. So a lot of different things and mag groups. I'd watched a few of your videos where you're talking about tanks and mag groups and stuff. So a lot of just you've been doing this for a long time. So I guess just kind of explain to everybody what you're all about and kind of sell yourself for a few minutes. And I've got the link to your YouTube channel. We're also broadcasting over on your channel. So yeah, just let everyone know what you're all about.
Well, I'm the All-American Prepper. I live 100% off grid. I'm living as if the grid has already gone down. I'm already living the life. You know, I'm catching my own food. I grow my own food. I don't go to the grocery stores. I'm just as ready as anybody can get. I train. I don't play airsoft. I train in airsoft. You know, it's a training tool for me. You know, I have a very large mag team. You know, they got tanks. You know, we have a lot of stuff. And, you know, we don't plan on waging war. It's just all that is to protect our bug out spot.
Yeah, Kenzie said AAP is a little bit blurry in the image. Yeah, we tried to figure out the internet beforehand, and that's just the curse of being a prepper and living in a rural area. You are subject to whatever you've got. So, and tonight it's not cooperating with him. So,
being a prepper is use the tool at hand.
Yeah, yep. But what I wanted to do was talk about, I guess first we'll talk about the homesteading, the off the grid stuff, because I think that to me is really interesting because a lot of us in preparedness, I mean, some of us don't necessarily want to go the full route you go, but all of us want to get to some extent to that point. And I think it's kind of cool to talk to somebody that actually is living that, because you mentioned a couple weeks ago that you don't have refrigeration. You don't. And I was watching your show at Tag, and you were talking about you don't have indoor toilet. You take a bath in a kiddie pool. I think you were talking about that last night, right? So you are off the grid, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
100% off the grid. I take a bath in the kiddie pool. I use a 5-gallon bucket. I'm living the life. I'm living it as if everything has already gone down. The only way I would know that everything, when it does go down, is my phone won't work.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. And how long have you been doing this? Is this sort of a lifestyle that you've had and you just sort of built on it? Or is it how long have you been doing it basically?
It's a lifestyle. I've been doing it virtually my whole life. I was raised up as a farm boy. You know, we had no hot water. We had no air conditioning. We ate what we caught or hunt. You know, that's just the way my dad raised us. You know, he gave us a 22 rifle and said, go get supper. Or gave us a fishing gear and said, go get supper. And, you know, he said, if you don't get something, we don't eat tonight.
Yeah, that's the way to learn, isn't it?
So that's, yeah, learn by experience. You know, I practice what I preach. You know, I truly live off grid. I try to make it as primitive as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
because when all else fails, primitive, when that store-bought bow you buy breaks, can you make your own bow? When your freezer goes out, do you know how to keep from that meat going bad? I know all that stuff. I salt and slow smoke all my meat. I'd use no refrigeration at all. I live primitive, and I actually enjoy it. It's very freeing. It's very satisfying knowing that I can make it on my own without the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's working great now. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Everything's great.
This is what's awesome about working without a safety net, man. The wonders of live broadcasting.
Yes, it is.
But
yes,
I guess we'll go back to if I can remember where the hell I was. But I think we were talking about you preserving food and you living off the grid, and you've been doing it for a while. And I was just wondering about as far as, and you live down in Florida, so you don't have to worry about the winters really. So you don't have to worry necessarily about the long term, like storing food over the winter. But how do you preserve that meat and that stuff? And how long can you say you go find a pig or a deer or something like that? How long will that last you?
It lasts me till I run out of that particular meat. I mean, I've really never had it go bad on me. So honestly, I can't say that there's an expiration date for 6 months. I salted it and slow smoked it. I just studied the way the natives did it, how the Seminoles did it. And it works great, and I just salt it really good, slow smoke it. And honestly, I haven't ever had any go bad on me.
That's cool. And how do you store it after you do that, the smoking and the salting?
Well, I like to vacuum seal it. That's the only technology I use is I vacuum seal it. I don't know, I just, in my mind, it seems like it would do better being deprived of oxygen. Yeah. But even the stuff I just put in mason jars and just leaving sitting there, it does fine. I don't have any problem with it at all.
That's cool.
And I do a lot of wild edibles. Sorry about that, brother. It's a little lag time. I do a lot of wild edibles. I grow a lot of food, but I also do a lot of wild edibles because I don't have to take care of it. It takes care of its own. No pesticides, no fertilizer, no nothing. It just takes care of itself. It's bug resistant, and it's more healthy. It's more healthy to eat that than it is anything you can grow that I know of.
Yeah. And I was watching, I don't know if it's an older video, but there was one where you're talking about rabbit poo and putting that straight on I forget what you were growing, but how is it possible? Because like I know with my chickens, if I were to put chicken crap straight on the garden or whatever, it would just kill it. Is rabbit droppings different?
Yes, rabbit droppings are different. The chicken poo is too acidic. The rabbit droppings kind of like background are grown with that, but
it's kind of doing the same thing. Oh, it just cut out again. See, but you're real good for a second, and then it cuts out. That's why I think it's something with this, and not necessarily you.
Okay, because I just changed the internets again, so I'm on like my third internet platform.
This looks good. Whatever you just did, don't change it.
Okay, all right. I think we're good then. All right. This is what I used last night, and it worked great. I think it's this particular platform we're using is giving us a little trouble.
Yeah, but, I do too.
But I think we're good now.
Yeah. So, again, I lost track of what the hell I was talking about. But yeah, the whole preserving meat and all that, and you were talking about wild edibles, and that's another thing. Then we were talking about the rabbit poop. What other kind of animals do you have that you raise there?
Well, I would raise chickens, but I have a chicken lady that's in our mag team that she does all the poultry. She has so many chickens. So I just barter with her for I don't need to raise chickens because I'll just trade her hog meat or labor or sugar because I grow sugar cane and I process that into sugar syrup, and I'll trade her that for eggs or chicken. We got a really good bartering system set up to where everybody in the mag team, each one of us has our own thing, and we just trade amongst each other, and it works out really great. If I
Yeah,
want
yeah,
chicken, I just go to her and bring her a couple gallons of sugar syrup that I made from the sugar cane, and she'll give me chickens or eggs or whatever I want. And the wild hogs out here, they're like a plague. I mean, they're
yeah.
just so there are so many of them that I can't even take enough of them out. They tear everything up down here. So,
Yeah, invasive species or whatever. That's what I've heard. Like down south where you are, places like Texas, a lot of places, they're just you can't kill them fast enough because they reproduce so much.
yeah, it's an endless resource. It's an endless resource. And then when hunting season comes along, because little Miss Prepper sitting right here, she would rather eat. Miss Prepper,
Hi.
Hey, I've seen you on some videos.
Yeah.
she would rather eat deer meat than porterhouse or T-bone, or she enjoys the deer meat better than anything that you could buy at a grocery store or get at a restaurant.
Yeah, yeah. I love venison. Yeah,
I love it too, and there, contrary to what people believe, there is a lot of deer where I'm at. My buddies, they tell me these crazy wild stories about stalking this deer, and I'm just like, just let my wife drive your truck, because every time she drives a truck, she hits a deer.
yeah. I've got a couple. I think they
Yeah.
aim for me. I literally think they wait for me to start driving, and then they're like, "All right, ready? Let's go."
Yeah, that's what she says. I ride a motorcycle. I am also a president of a bike club, and we stay out of the traffic. We ride the back roads, and the worst thing we really got to worry about is a hog running out in front of us, really.
Yeah,
I mean, we stay out of traffic. The only time we get near traffic is when we get near to the beach, because we like to do beach trips. And we just ride together as a crew, and we go to the beach, have a nice time, fish. And the guys with the bikes with the saddlebags and all, because I don't have any of that on my motorcycle. Mine's like a naked bike because I like to go fast.
yeah.
My Harley will go very fast. And
Nice,
so I don't want
nice.
no, she wants saddlebags in the windshield. And I'm like, just take the car.
Yeah. So you had talked about mag groups, and I've got this little video clip here because you had talked about. Well, I've got a few video clips with you guys doing some training, but I want to play this because this is a tank, and I have a few questions about this. One being, how do I get myself one? But I want to play this clip real quick, and I suppose I'll just play the whole thing. It's only about 2 minutes. But if you want to jump in at some point, just let me know. But let me play this real quick.
Welcome, YouTubers, fellow preppers, and survivalists. Here is the big tank. If you see another previous video earlier, that's the small tank. Here's one of the big tanks. See inside of it.
Whoa. There we go.
That's the outside.
That is pretty sweet.
Yes, I love it. We have another one even bigger than that one.
Oh, is this the small one?
No, that's the medium sized one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, this tank is pretty cool looking. And I was wondering let me pull this off here and get this screen right. There we go. What does one of those go for? Do you know? I mean, ballpark?
Well, the little tank is for sale for $80,000. And the little tank, it's actually street legal. It's hilarious that when we go, my buddies, they just love going through Taco Bell. Some YouTubers, fellow preppers.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Keep talking. I just wanted to show them the tank.
Yeah, that's the little tank. He loves going through Taco Bell and ordering Taco Bell through that thing because just to look on their faces. And I'm just like, I am not eating that stuff. So you go right ahead and order away, buddy.
Yeah, that is hilarious. So this one's going for $60,000, you said?
$80,000. Somebody's got 80,000. Yeah, 80,000 cash, and they can have it. Now, what's going on with these tanks is there's a government agency going around and buying as many tanks as they can and sending them to where. Now, there's two reasons why they're doing that, in my opinion. One reason is because they really don't want us to have tanks. So they're buying them up and getting them out of here. And a lot of people don't know this, but even the armored vehicles from the banks, when those armored vehicles are retired, they destroy them. They don't allow them to resell them.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
Yes, they don't want us to have armored vehicles. So if you got a tank, keep it, but he's selling a little one for $80,000 because he's got a bigger one that he's wanting to get.
Yeah.
So,
I get to one extent why they wouldn't want, people to have them. But at the same time, it always goes back to the Second Amendment with people, people just don't understand why that is so damn important. And it just drives me crazy, but it's just the way things are these days. That's kind of why it does surprise me that, that you guys have these, because it's almost like you were talking about, well, they want to just get rid of them and not be able to let other people have them. But unfortunately, that pesky Constitution is in the way from them being able to just outright do this crap. So pretty interesting, pretty cool.
What we do is we search barns, we search high and we search low. And when we find one, we buy it, we fix it up and make it operatable. And like those things are just like they come off the manufacturing line. I mean, we completely overhaul them, completely rebuild them. And it's not like we're planning on, fighting against helicopters or anything. It's just they're fun to use in the airsoft games, and also in a grid down situation. That is a very good defensive position that's mobile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'll play this video of you guys training. And you said, I believe you said in that video too, that the tanks are set up for airsoft at this point, right?
Yes, they can be converted over in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's literally unmounting something and mounting something else on.
Yeah.
That quick.
So just a really cool training tool, as well as, and I did want to get into this a little bit, the airsoft stuff, because you don't hear a whole lot about the airsoft. Now, Brandon, who's in the chat right now, showed me this video of this. It was like I believe it was Brandon. It was like a $6,000, actually a pellet gun is what it was, not airsoft gun, but a $6,000 gun. And you think about these guns that can be used for practice, that can be used for training, that you don't have to go to the range and things like that. I imagine from the looks of this video, and I'll play it here in a second, you guys put a whole lot of money into. You got some cool airsoft. You got some cool equipment. Is it what is it? A ballpark figure as far as one of an airsoft gun? How much do they go for? And as far as training and all that, how do you think they compare to? How well do you think they work for you guys?
It's the closest to the real thing you can get without people dying. And like the Glock airsoft pistol is literally made by Glock. It chambers the same way. The mag loads the same way. The trigger pull, the safety. I mean, it is identical, except for it shoots plastic BBs instead of lead.
Mm-hmm.
And, without eye protection, because those things, we use military grade eye protection because a regular pair of glasses, they'll just shoot right through them. I mean, I have bruises all over me. I don't know why they call it airsoft, because there isn't anything soft about it.
Yeah.
But it's really fun, and it's a great training tool. And, it's the closest thing to real combat you can get, like I said, without people getting seriously injured. In a non-lethal self-defense situation, I could have my full auto airsoft AR, which holds 200 rounds in the magazine. And if I mag dump that in someone's face, they are going to be permanently blind. I mean, so
yeah, that's just painful to think about.
Yeah, and like I said, without eye protection, I think it's a great form of non-lethal self-defense.
Yeah. And I'll play this video, and I'll let you kind of walk everybody through what this is. Let me see if I can get it on the screen the right way here.
Let me see that.
Let me turn this down a little bit, and then you can talk. So this is basically you guys. This is some sort of simulation, right? Where you guys are on the inside and you've got a group attacking you?
Yes, that's exactly it. We are holding the hills, and we got a group trying to take the hills from us. And it's just, like I said, it is as real as it gets. We even have airsoft grenades that when they go off, they go boom in a big way. The only difference is they don't throw shrapnel, but they're just as loud as a real grenade. And so anybody within 15 feet of that grenade is just counted as a kill.
Interesting, yeah. And I'm going to fast forward. This is a little bit longer, but I want to fast forward a little bit when they're starting to come in. So, yeah, you can see the people coming in between the trees right there and also through the trees, right?
Yes, there's about 200 people all up in them trees trying to come and get us. And it's so much fun. See, they're starting to take us, because the way we play it on that one, we give them unlimited lives. When they get hit, they go back and respawn. When we get hit, we're out of the game. That way, because we got tanks, we got the hills, we got the high ground. So we have a very big advantage.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, I mean, they've got, a wider range, a wider berth, but you got a lot of protection there. They're just kind of standing out there naked, basically. You got a crow's nest and all sorts of stuff. So do you guys switch sides?
Yes, absolutely. We run that game, and see, we have teams. It's usually a red team and a yellow team, which a lot of those people out there are on my mag team. It's a private field, but if you're invited, you can come. And so anybody watching this, you are invited to come.
Just make your way down there. That's all. You got to pay for your own plane ticket.
Yeah, just come on down. We charge $35 to cover insurance, because we got to have insurance, just in case someone gets injured. And we have everything there you need. We have sniper rifles, AKs, ARs, anything you can think of. They have it in airsoft, and it's literally made by the same gun companies that make the real guns. They are real. They just shoot plastic BBs. They load the same. I mean, like I said, I recommend someone that likes to use an AR to set up their AR air gun the exact same way. Put your light in the same place, put your scope in the same place, put everything in the same place. Your chest rig is the same. You know, that way if it goes real world, you just change your magazines out for your real mags.
Yeah.
You change your airsoft gun out for your real gun. And, you know, a lot of those guys are wearing body armor just to get used to wearing it in the heat and running around with it. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's a
Good training.
great training. It's great training. We have a lot of law enforcement come out, and like we have a law enforcement team that comes out, and their job is specifically to stop an active shooter. And I hope they're not watching this, but because I'm just going to put it out there. When they come out there, we put a world of hurt on them. We
Yeah.
do. We really put a reality check on them. They're like, wow. I mean, you know, some of us, we got like 16-year-old kids out there. And those guys, man, they can really go at it. And like I said, we use the grenades, we use flashbangs. I mean, everything's as real world as it is without anyone getting hurt.
Yeah. Hey, couple questions. Mojave said, how long does the game last? Do you guys go all day long, take a lunch break or whatever, and then, continue? How long do you guys do that? Or is it a weekend?
What we do, we do different scenarios for different games. Like we have a helicopter. So we'll have the helicopter out there and we'll play a game called Pilot Down. So we have a team trying to rescue the pilot. And then we have another team trying to keep from them rescuing the pilot. And then and the game's, 30 minutes or till last man standing until the other team wipes out the other team is usually it. That's usually how it ends. One team just overruns the other team. And usually the teams that is most aggressive is usually the one that wins.
And how often do you guys do this? Is it a couple times a year? Or?
Every weekend.
Every weekend. Wow.
Every weekend, 12 hours straight. Every Saturday, every Sunday, 12 hours.
So
we play.
It's no wonder you don't go to the grocery store. You spend all your money on airsoft ammunition.
Surprisingly, it's really not that expensive. Like the Glock 19 airsoft gun is around $200. The Glock 18 airsoft gun, which you can set it for full auto, is around $200. Your average airsoft gun is around $200. Now there is guys out there that they're kind of crazy and they'll put hundreds and hundreds of dollars in their gun. There's some guys out there with thousands of dollars in their airsoft gun. And I'm like, why would you do that, bro? You could buy a real gun for that.
Yeah.
And you learn very quickly in airsoft, because you'll have guys that they'll try to buy their way into winning. And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are the weapon. The gun is just a tool. It's whoever the most experienced player is can get a lesser of a weapon and win the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, and then Kenzie asked here in the chat, do you guys have a med team in the field or on standby?
Oh, yes. I'm a field medic. I'm not a real doctor, but I can keep you alive till a real doctor gets there. But yes, we have paramedics on the field with full medical gear, all trained. Like even little Miss Prepper, she took Refuge Medical's training course,
Cool.
and it's to stop the bleed. It's a very good course, and I took their course, which was a refresher for me because I'm already a field medic. But it was a good refresher for me. It's kind of one of the things. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, is that something you guys simulate during the exercises that you guys do too?
Oh yes, yes. We even have. See, one day is just a free for all, and then Sundays is called Mill Sim Days. And on Mill Sim Days, we carry tourniquets. So if someone gets hit, we put a tourniquet on them, then they're back in the game. And then they get hit again, we put another tourniquet on them, they're back in the game. And they get hit again, and they're out of the game. So,
I'm thinking of the movie Role Models. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but when they're doing the whole LARPing thing and somebody gets or a couple of movies where they get their leg chopped off and they have to walk around on one leg.
yeah, well, we play as much as realistic as it can be done. Sometimes we even have a guy flying a drone in and doing recon with the drone while we have earpieces in. And he's like, yo, man, there's somebody over there behind that building. There's a group of them over here. And we'll use a drone to recon, just like you would in a real life situation. We even have drones rigged up to where you can drop a grenade from the drone, an airsoft grenade. It'll drop from the drone. I have footage of drone fishing. I don't know if you've seen that on there on my channel, but it's the guys, instead of dropping grenades, they got them running the fishing line way out into the ocean and just dropping the fishing line like 100 times further than you could ever cast.
Wow. I suppose you get a lot deeper that farther out, right? Get the bigger fish.
Oh yeah. I mean, they take them way out there where the boats are, it's like the boat guys, some of them get kind of not happy. They're like, man, these inshore fishermen are way out here fishing, and they're not spending all this money with these big giant boats and all that. And we're like, why would we spend all that fuel and all that when we could just run a drone and drop the line out there? And then this one hell of a fight reeling the fish in 500 yards.
I was going to say, how long does that take?
It's all according to how big the fish is.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And we eat the fish, we eat the fish. I don't waste anything. I don't throw anything away. I literally, when I get a deer, I even eat the bone marrow out of the bone. I don't waste anything. That's part of survival is don't waste anything. If this thing, I'm not trying to scare nobody, I don't do fear porn on my channel or any of that. But if this thing keeps going the way I see it's going, I believe that people will do seriously bodily harm to someone else for the things that people throw away now.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Yeah. It's definitely going in the wrong direction. I'll just say that. And who knows how long, when, where, in my opinion, anyway, I don't like the direction it's going with all the good things we've done in society. That as far as the country goes, there's just a lot of things that, and then you've got, on top of that, you've got the AI and the advances in technology and all these different things that are going to change things fundamentally, the digital currency and so many things that it just, it doesn't look good, man. It doesn't look good. So
it's all about control. They just want absolute. I mean, you think they would be happy enough with these phones, because they see and hear everything. As well as I do, you just mention something over your phone and then you go to YouTube and it shows up on your feed for sale, as advertisement. I mean, that's why you couldn't see me a while ago, is because I keep tape over my cameras.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was like, They may be able to hear what I'm saying and they may know where I'm at, but they are only going to see what I want them to see. Now, who is they and who is them? I have no idea.
It's
But,
it's everybody these days.
yeah, it's the most form of privacy. I reckon, because I do know people, because I do work in the security business. I do know people that do know how to hack these phones and turn your camera on. I do know people that know how to hack these phones and turn it on where they can hear everything you're saying. And I'm talking about just some teenager in his mama's basement with just too much time on his hands. So,
Yeah.
if some kid can do that, it's just all about control. And, like I believe if you go on Facebook, which I'm permanently banned off Facebook, but
Go figure.
yeah, if you go on Facebook and you say something they don't like, well, with this digital currency, they could just shut your account down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of funny. I don't know if it's funny or not, but it's interesting that like a decade ago, remember when all the hubbub was about Samsung TVs spying on you and crap like that? And these days, what's not spying on you? I mean,
Yeah,
everybody's got access to everything we do these days. It's not just the NSA anymore. It's everything
yeah,
these days.
that's why in my bunker, I do not allow a lot of things. I don't allow no television. I don't allow no modern anything in there
Yeah.
because I want some form of privacy. I mean, when I'm in there with my wife, I am married. I don't want some creep, listening, to us being married.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I get you. Hey, and I was going to ask you too about your bunker. And give me as much information as you feel like you can or you want to, but what sort of setup as far as like size and things like that and depth? And because I know down in Florida, is there a limit to how far you can go down before it basically you're just flooded?
Well, here is a misconception about bunkers. One of the main, we'll play Mythbusters, okay? Uh, I've been in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I've gone against bunkers. Not all bunkers are underground.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not all bunkers are underground. So my bunker, I'm gonna be kind of shady about that. But let's just say if it's hard to get into, it's hard to get out of. And if you build a bunker that you can't fight from, you have literally built yourself a coffin.
A coffin. Yeah. Yeah.
So you better be able to fight out of it, and you better have a way to get the hell out of there. And what I really did it. It's really easy. Anyone can do it. I'll explain, what I'm willing to explain. Okay. What I did was I went down here and bought one of those buy here, pay here sheds. Okay. So, and it was like $100 a month. And I had it paid off in a little over a year. Well, I tied it down like you would a trailer. I didn't use, we got hurricanes down here. So
Yeah.
I didn't use a shed tie. I tied it down like you would a trailer. And when I say I tied it down anywhere, I mean that thing is tied down than most trailers are. I mean, it's really tied down. The guy that was helping me do it, he was like, "Yo, bro, man, you really believe in overkill, man. This thing is like, how many damn tie downs are you going to put on this thing?" And I just said, "Look, man, I don't want to end up in Kansas, okay?
Yeah.
All right." So, metaphorically speaking, I got nothing against Kansas. I would just don't want to be whisked in the air and end up there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so I got it really tied down really good. Then what I did was I poured me a concrete footer all the way around it. A real good solid footer. Then what I did was I laid block all the way around it. Then I put rebar down the block and poured the block full of concrete all the way around it. Then I did it again. So
Damn.
it's 2 layers of reinforced concrete block. Then I insulated the hell out of it. Then I got the thickest sheet metal that I could find, and I completely sheet metaled the whole interior of it with the thickest sheet metal that I could find, which is pretty thick.
Mm-hmm.
And I bolted that to the walls and the roof. And so when the hurricanes come through here, man, we got hit hard. It tore everybody's houses and trailers, roofs off, houses got split in half with and everybody, my neighbors like, you're going to stay in that bunker? And I'm like, hell yeah, I am. And not even so much as a roof leak. I mean,
Cool.
it didn't hurt anything. When people lost their roofs and part of their houses, and I mean, it tore ass. I got a lot of wood. People's like, man, why come you haven't cleared all them trees out there? I'm like, because I use that wood to cook on.
Yeah, it's fuel.
Yeah, it's fuel. I seen everybody cut all their trees up and stack it out near the road. And I'm like, all you guys call me crazy, but you're throwing away all this fuel. I cook on it. I smoke my meat on it.
Yeah.
Everything. I don't cook inside that bunker at all.
Yeah, there could come a day when people are going to be wishing they had all those trees around, because they're going to go try to take your trees. So, back on the mag groups real quick, because there was one question I had that I wanted to ask you, because it's something I get all the time from people. And at least once a month I'll get an email about advice on finding a mag group. People can't find the right mag group, or they get a couple people and it doesn't work out. How did you get into the group that you were in, and what is some advice maybe for people that are looking to find something like that, or even just a support group? Because, and we can get into the community aspect of it as well, and needing that support, but how did you go about finding your group, and what are some ideas for those people that, because it is a challenge for a lot of people?
Well, luckily down here, we got the Southern boy mentality, and, just a handshake is our word, so we weed through people. If we find out that someone is breaking the law, they're out.
Yeah.
If we find out that someone is doing drugs, they're out. Now, we don't mind if they drink, and since, marijuana is legal down here, so, whatever, it's legal. As long as they have a prescription for it, I don't judge. That's the one thing, I don't judge nobody. Only God has the right to judge.
That's my feeling too.
Yes, I don't judge anyone. Only God has that right. And we just, go to your local airsoft field, because you'll find a lot of preppers there.
Yeah.
That game is a magnet for like-minded people, that they're not there just to play airsoft. They're there to train. And then you just, you have barbecues, and you just, talk to them and fill them out. And because I do work security, I'm real good at just reading people.
Mm-hmm.
And, because my life depends on it. And I'm just good at reading people. And we have, it takes, when you can trust a man alone with your wife, there's a lot of things you can trust men with, but it seems like a lot of people have their breaking point. I know a lot of men you can trust with money. You can trust them with your car. But you can't trust them with your wife. So if I feel that I can't trust someone with my wife, they're not joining my mag team.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And
I
because I
think
gotta, I gotta be able.
I feel sorry for them if they try to pull anything with my wife, because she wouldn't have it, and that's how confident I am in our relationship. So
Yeah, and that me too. I'm head of security at a whole new strip club, and my wife has no problem with it because
yeah, yeah,
she knows I am not going to cheat. And those girls, they when they get fresh with me, I just FaceTime her. I'll call her on the phone and put her on the phone with the girl and say, "Go here, talk to my wife."
yeah, yeah. But that's a very good point, though. I mean, there are certain things that if a person is willing to do this or that, what else, where is their point of being a good friend and doing things for themselves and screw you, basically. So that's a very good point. Yeah, yeah.
You
A
know,
couple people in the chat too. Were you going to comment on that? Sorry.
yeah, well, blood doesn't necessarily make family. Someone you're
Hmm.
willing to bleed for is family. And anyone on my mag team, I will bleed for them. And they're the same way. And my mag team is interblend with my bike group. So, I got two ways of recruiting. I have my bike club, and then I have, the airsoft, and we meet like-minded people. We meet up every weekend and we go to war. And you find out a lot about somebody because, man, them airsoft BBs, for a lot of people, they hurt.
Yeah.
Me, I boxed for a long time, and then I fought MMA for a long time, and I still will fight MMA. So I have a high threshold for pain. So they're like, man, All American, you ain't right, because I'll stand there and just go shoot me, just shoot me. I'll let them shoot me up, and I'm like, and then you got some people that I'll talk them into it. Like, come on, man, come play airsoft, come play airsoft. And then they'll go in, I mean, head first. They'll buy the expensive gun, they'll buy all the equipment, and all that. And then the first time they get shot, they're like, damn, man, that hurts. I didn't know that was going to hurt that much. And then you never see them come back. So, it takes a tough character. It takes a tough character. I got to take me some aspirin. I got a headache. It takes a tough character to play airsoft, you know.
I'll tell you
And
what,
like I
that's a
said,
good way to get good at it. You
yeah,
don't want to get hit anymore. Get good at it.
absolutely. And practice don't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, for instance, I teach two different ways. When it's all out, just straight up war, you know, simulated war, guns up. Because when you're at a shooting range and you're for real shooting, when you got your sights lined up, you're going to pull the trigger. That's just your instinct. So we also do simulations, as in, oh, my family's in there, the window just got busted, I got to run into that room and get my kids out of that room. Well, in that situation, it's gun down and look,
Hmm.
because you don't want the worst case scenario of you shooting your kid to sneaking back in the house at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm a big advocate of ballistic shields and body armor. I meant to have my shield here to show you. I have a ballistic shield, and because it takes time to put on body armor. That ballistic shield, when you hear that bump in the night, you just reach down and grab it.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
I just, so I'm an advocate of a ballistic shield. You just reach down and grab it. And then whatever, weapon you choose to defend yourself with, whether it be a baseball bat or a knife, or an airsoft gun, whatever it is, you just roll with it. And with that ballistic shield, not only will it stop rounds, but it's a good way to block a baseball bat, a samurai sword, a 2x4, whatever somebody may be coming at you with. So I'm a strong advocate of a ballistic shield that's not too big. And I have a
get
video.
The job done.
Yeah, I have videos on my channel about the ballistic shield that I prefer. And the reason why is because it's only 6 pounds and it will stop most incoming.
Yeah.
It's a really great shield. The company should
one
pay
last
me
thing on the prepper groups that I was going to mention. There's a lot of comments in the chat that were talking about how to find those like-minded people. And I think that's where we sort of fall into as preppers is trying to get that group like you have, right? That MAG group that is specifically, or a lot of people in the group are centered on preparedness. But there are so many different places you can meet those like-minded people. You go to the range. You were talking about doing the airsoft stuff. You can go to a gun range. I think Kenzie in there was talking about going to volunteering at the vet's place. You've got Stop the Bleed classes, all those places where those people that may be interested in preparedness and have the same sort of ideals that you do, all those places that they kind of go to. And then, you just never know who you're going to meet up with. It's pretty rare that somebody's got a situation like you have in preparedness. I think it's more likely that people have and there are plenty of groups. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think it's more likely that people have that support group around them. And we are going to need, regardless of what we can do, we are going to need all of that because we're not going to be able to go it alone.
A lone man is easy prey. It's as simple
as
that. You have to have numbers. I know it's a cliche, okay, but I just refer to the show The Walking Dead, okay, because a lot of that is how it's going to play out. You're going to have groups join together. Mm-hmm. You're going to have some bad acting groups, some groups that have, core beliefs and values. And, I believe, honestly, I hate to say it, but I'm just going to, that when the grid goes down, and I was watching one of your videos earlier today, and I believe you were point on that there is going to be a major die-off.
Yeah.
That, there's going to be
people
a major. Yeah. There's going to be a major, and people that just can't. I know some people that literally, without an air conditioner, they will get sick. They can't even handle the heat down here.
Yeah.
We're going to lose a lot of people just to heat down here. Now, I always try to look to the bright side of things. I always try to go, well, the cup is half full. So when we do lose a lot of people, just think of all the vehicles going to be sitting around for all the batteries I can hook up for my solar.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of resources. But it is true because people are so dependent on electricity and I mean, money. Money is one where people aren't going to be able to get money. People aren't going to be able to get food. People have illnesses. They need medication. I mean, there's so many different things that people are on this machine that they need to be, sustained by this machine that if it fell apart, most people just couldn't handle it. And regardless of how hard they tried, after a few months, it's just, and there's no guarantee that any of us preppers make it either. I mean, no. Just because we're doing what we do doesn't give us any damn guarantees at all. So,
well, we all have an expiration date.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have an expiration date, but so I've heard people, use the excuse, well, I'm not going to go until my time. Well, that may be true, but it can sure hurt a whole lot until then.
Yeah.
So, that's my mentality. It's just, that's why I live the way I do. Now, Jace Medical, look, don't, be smart about it. Get Jace Medical's antibiotics. Put that stuff back. Put back whatever you can. Because just an abscessed tooth can kill you without
Yeah.
medical attention. Now,
Yeah.
lucky for me, working as a bouncer, I've had most of my teeth knocked out. I mean,
Lucky
really.
for you, huh?
Yeah, lucky for me, because I'm not going to have to. I only got a few teeth left. They've all been knocked out, so I'm not going to have to worry about that.
I'll tell you what, that's no joke when you talk about dental pain. I mean, I can handle cuts and scrapes and big cuts and stuff like that. But when you talk about a tooth, it's tooth pain. Oh man, that's debilitating.
And if it's abscess, it can kill you.
Yeah, very true. Yep. Yeah.
So you have, now's the time to go to the dentist and get your teeth fixed. And preventive maintenance. Eat like
Being
I grow a lot
proactive.
of. Yeah, I grow a lot of healthy food. I grow turmeric and garlic and just healthy food and preventive maintenance. It's like I know people that are so obsessed with their four-wheel drive trucks. And I mean, I'm like, man, but yet they'll be very overweight and very out of shape. And I'm like, man, you're out here washing this truck every 2 days. If you took half a care of your body as you do this truck, you'd live to be 200 years old. But, it's just preventive maintenance. And then when your time comes, then your time comes. So be spiritually fit.
Yeah.
And it's a very freeing when you reach a point that it's not just knowing, but I've been around so much death that, accepting it, just know you are going to die one day. And once you accept that and just so, you know what? So I'm going to make every minute count. I'm going to make every second count. Every minute to me is precious because I have been legally dead, pronounced dead by the doctors because I had allergic reaction to some medication, which killed me. And when my heart did start beating again, after they already pronounced me dead, yeah, let's just say I looked at life a whole lot different.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something we do need to think about as preppers too. There's a lot that we get into that is bad news, right? We're preparing for this, we're preparing for that, but we got to remember to live because we only get one shot at, go around down here that we know of anyway. You only have one chance. So, there's no reason to get so tore into this stuff that's all you ever think about. Now, granted, we do need to think about it, but you got to live your life too, and you got to do the things you enjoy, and you've got to, you got to love the ones that are with you and not, push them away and all that stuff. So I think it's important to get that balance as preppers, as far as making sure that we're prepared as we can be, but not losing sight of the fact that, hey, man, we still got to live. So
yeah, I notice a lot of people. I call it prepper fatigue.
yeah,
If you can get prepper fatigue. Well, me and Little Miss Prepper, we love, going to the beach and spending the day at the beach and cooking on the grill, whatever I catch, because I fish and I throw a cast net, so we'll cook on the grill and I bring my own wood. So, it's kind of funny, I have Hispanic. I have pronunciation problems because I had a heat stroke years ago. But he was over. I invited him over for a barbecue, and I was cooking on oak limbs, and he was like, "You're not going to use charcoal. You're going to cook on limbs." And I was kind of taken back from that. I was like, "Let me get this straight, man. You really think you have to use charcoal that you can't use wood?" But the guy really had it in his mind that, oh no, you can't use tree limbs to cook on. You got to use charcoal.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, no, that's why I approach as primitive as possible. Now, of course, I mean, take advantage of, modern day luxuries that will help you, okay, such as antibiotics and things like that. Like, rarely do we get a hot shower. So when we get a hot shower, oh boy, do we eat that up. I mean, so, a lot of people, they just can't comprehend it. They don't realize just 100 years ago, people didn't have hot showers. People didn't have flushing toilets. There's people that still live in Kentucky that don't have that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't even have it by choice.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like I said, when the grid goes down, I'm not even going to know. I'm already used to it. It's just my way of life. I live
yeah,
that way. I choose to live that way. I would rather be free instead of, working all these crazy hours to pay for a big fancy house that all you do is get to sleep in it. And then the rest of the time you're working.
yeah,
No, I would
yeah.
rather live in just a little bunker and hold my wife as tight as I can hold her, just enough to where she can still breathe, and and just enjoy those moments, of togetherness, of walking the dogs, of, working together in the garden, working the homestead, feeding the animals,
Yeah.
going to the beach, just, eating what I catch, just live. I live in the moment, and
Well, I think that's what we all strive to do to some extent, and it really depends on our personal situation. But we all see how everybody's so dependent on all the outside resources and all that. We all try to be as self reliant as possible, and that means different things for different people. But I think we all, as life goes on, try to get a little bit further and further away from that stuff and try to do our own things because we know that when it does go down, we're going to have to, like it or not. And you, like you said, you sort of got a leg up because you're used to it. It's not going to be this culture shock for you. Some third world countries, if everything goes to crap worldwide, some places down in Africa may not even, it may not even be a hiccup. They're not even going to notice anything. Some of these places in South America and, but us first world country or us Americans, it's going to be, I mean, like we were talking about, people are going to die because they just can't cope without this lifestyle. Yeah.
yeah, it's like me. I'm taking aspirin, because that's the only that I will not take Tylenol. It destroys your liver. Occasionally I'll take ibuprofen if I get hurt training in MMA. But when I got a headache like I do now, because I've been working out in the sun all day and hot and dehydrated, I just take me a couple aspirin. And that's another thing I suggest. When it does hit the fan, people are going to be so shocked that aspirin is going to be a lifesaver, because I believe a lot of people is going to kill over from heart attacks just from the, oh my God, I can't believe this is really happening. All
Yeah.
these crazy preppers said this was going to happen, but oh, it's really happening. I've ran out of conspiracy theories. They've all come true.
No kidding, right? Yeah.
People's like, oh, Ernie's crazy. He believes the phones are listening. And I'm like, okay, just talk about something. Then look at your feed. Well, then come out Snowden, and he, release, and they're like, oh, dang, well, Ernie was right about that, All American Prepper was right about that, but he can't possibly be right about this. Like I was at a doctor's office and I said that I'm going to be careful how I word things, but something had something in it. And the
Yeah, I know what you
nurse
mean.
and the nurse argued with me, and I'm like, just Google it. It'll tell you. And she argued. I said, just Google it. I'm not going to argue with you. Life is too short. Just Google it. You're a nurse. She Googled it, and then she was like, wow, you were right. And I was
Yeah.
like, I told you, and I said, and the rest of what I'm telling you, I'm right about. And she says, well, you're right about that, but you're not right about the rest of it. And I said, well, unfortunately, you can't Google that part. So I guess you got to have Google think for you.
Yeah, well, and that's the issue these days because there are a lot of things more than ever that are labeled conspiracy theories that shouldn't be, and then we end up being right on this stuff, and then it is these days. It is the shelf life of a conspiracy theory is probably a month or so these days because anything that doesn't go with the public narrative, anything that doesn't toe the company line, it's labeled a conspiracy theory. Whack job. You're crazy. You're nuts. You're one of those extremists and all this stuff. And then 2 months later, after the damage is done, the truth comes out. We're proven right. And not with everything, but a lot of things we're proven right. But then it doesn't matter because that narrative is already out there. That narrative of this is bad, this is good, do this, don't do that. All of that stuff is already out there and the damage is done. So, but yeah, it's conspiracy theorists almost as a, yeah, well, thank you these days. Yeah.
And with Facebook and all this other stuff and all this stuff, I don't have a television in my bunker, okay? But I believe we are producing a culture of narcissists, and a narcissist will never admit that he or she was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never say they're sorry. And they'll never admit that, well, you're right and I was wrong and I'm sorry. They just won't do it. And, the evidence can be right in their face. And they just know they won't rethink it and go, oh, well, you were right. And it's because, we got so many narcissistic people nowadays. And I believe social media has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and our culture, that's why a house divided cannot withstand. And I believe this country is past the POR. I hope I'm wrong, because I am all American. I piss red, white, and blue. you know I'm the old American. I'm the old school America.
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah.
Old Testament Christian. Okay. I mean,
Yeah, I think a lot of it, I mean, most of us preppers we're that way. And you see how things have just changed in our lifetimes and how just over the horizon, it just looks, 10 times worse. So, yeah, it's completely different. The freedoms that we had when we were younger, when we were growing up, teenagers, and the things that we were doing that we probably shouldn't be alive today to talk about. That stuff doesn't happen these days, and there's so many rules and laws and and people are just soft. I think as a general rule, not everybody, but as a general rule here in America, people don't know what it's like to suffer. People don't know what it's like to have to get things done for themselves. They depend on the almighty government to do all this stuff for them. The bigger the government, the more they can help them and protect them and this and that. And that's never been the case ever in the history of ever. The government's there to take care of themselves.
I think they're just brainwashed. I think they're just indoctrined. I really don't understand. See, that's another problem. People's like, oh, think outside the box. And I'm like, that's your first problem. There is no box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't think outside. There is no box. Just, it is what it is. Accept reality. People live in a fantasy world that they just cannot accept reality.
Well, maybe there didn't used to be a box, but I think these days the world leaders and all that are sure trying to construct this box to keep everybody, contained and don't step outside the lines. And yeah.
Well, that's what this is all about. That's what this digital currency is all about. That's what it's all about is, they're trying to box us in. And, you have guys like me, I've always, been a rebel. I hated going to school because, I was like, man, I could be fishing, I could be hunting. While you're going to school, I'm busy learning stuff. But, I just think we're conditioned from children. You get up, you go to school. Then when you get an adult, you get up, you go to work. And you're used to it. And then you take out a loan for all this stuff you really can't afford. And, I, I, I'm begging the subscribers, and I always do this. Please live below your means. Try living below your means for once.
Yeah.
Everybody is living above their means, and they're like, oh my God, I'm struggling. I can't. I was like, well, why'd you go and buy a new truck if you can't make your bills, man? Why'd you go and buy a freaking $400,000 house if why? And then I'll have guests come over, which rarely do I have, you know, outsiders come over, but occasionally somebody will be like, hey man, can I bring so and so? I'm like, yeah, you can bring them, but I don't like strangers out here. But they'll bring them out here, and one of the ladies was like, oh, I need to go potty. And I'm like, oh well, the bucket's right in there. What? What? Oh, I I can't go potty in a bucket. And I'm like, sure you can. It's really easy. You just sit down and let nature happen. And she was just beside herself. Oh my God. Somebody take me to a store so I can use the bathroom. And I'm like, look, if you can't use the bucket, I got all this land. I got all them trees out there. Just go and get behind a tree. What? I, I can't do that. Oh my goodness. And I'm like, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. No
You're
kidding.
not going to make it. You got people from third world countries that would just be shocked at how soft. There's so many Americans that they're ridiculously soft. I mean,
Yeah.
it's beyond ridiculous. It's like used to, you know, you could argue with someone and then, okay, well, I agree to disagree. Let's go have a beer. Now, when people get in arguments, they never talk to each other again, ever. They'll block each other off Facebook. They'll talk all, backbiting and all that. And I'm like, just let it go, man. Just let it go. We disagree. So what? Let's go have a beer, man, and chill out. So we
Yeah.
disagree. You believe that? I believe this. It's all good, man. But, it's like they just cannot let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand. I can't. People call me crazy, and I'm like, really? You call me crazy and then I go, just Google it. And then when they Google it and well, you were right about that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's sad that, you had to Google it instead of just taking my word for it
Yeah. Yeah.
or just disagreeing.
Yeah. Well, hey man, we are going to get out of here tonight. We're almost at an hour and a half now. So, great show once we finally got everything working right and, and doing all that stuff. Jammer WV in the chat, what's going on? A lot of people in the chat tonight. Very cool seeing y'all. Charlie and KZ and Kenzie and everyone else that's in there, Brandon. But before we get out of here, let everyone know one more time where they can find you, what you're up to. And again, I do have the link in the description below, and I will, when I put this podcast out, I'll make sure and put it in the show notes too. But any closing thoughts before we get out of here tonight?
Well, accept reality. Change the things that you can change and accept the things that you cannot change. Don't complain and moan and groan about something that you have absolutely no control over. Control your environment to the best of your ability. keep your head on a swivel, always remain a student, stay open-minded. Don't close your mind, be a free thinker, learn to look at things from the other person's perspective.
Yeah.
That's why I like doing these lives, because, people are getting to see it from, two sets of eyes. They're not just seeing my videos and my point of view. They're seeing you and your point of view. And then you got the people that are supporting the channel and their point of view, and just accept people, for who they are, as long as they're not doing no weird, creepy crap that's going to hurt a woman or a child. Don't judge nobody, you know, you know, the closest thing I could say to me is watch Apocalypse Now. And I do believe that Colonel Kurt's methods are very sound.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, and I believe his methods are. Did he go a bit extreme? Yes. But he got the job done. Sometimes it takes a man that's willing to go far to get the job done. Because, a lot of things in there, he just simplifies, explains things. There's a scene there. These are men with women and children, and they have love in their heart, but to have the sheer strength to do that without judgment, without judging themselves, without judging other people. Judge not, lest thee be judged. Don't, live and let live.
Yeah.
But don't try to force your way of living on me. And I won't try to force my will on you.
Gotcha. Yep. All right. Well, thank you everyone in the chat. All American Prepper, stick around a little bit after the show. We'll wrap everything up. But everyone in the chat, appreciate you all joining in tonight. And until next time, take care and prepare. We'll talk to you all later.
All American Prepper, stay dangerous, stay ready, get your ass a tank, and have a blessed day.